I'll now ask Dr. Baldeo to make brief comments as we conclude our program.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm not Dr. Baldeo, I'm Albert Baldeo, Dr. Baldeo's brother. But I come here with him to give our respect and tribute to a wonderful person who's distinguished our community in himself. And I come to you also in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent, the most omnipresent, and the most powerful, and whose name and grace we live and cherish. Brothers and sisters, our good friend Mohamed Salim lived a wonderful life, and a lot has been said of that. I don't want to go much into that. As a real estate person, as a person feeding people with 9, as a member of the Faith Council, and he was in so many other walks of life that he was a living testimony and example for all of us to follow. And for decades I have known him, but what I cherish most about him is the memory that he always told me. You know, I've gone through some paths that are not always easy. I've been a pioneer in many ways, and sometimes I've been pushed down and pushed up and fallen, but never defeated. And Salim always told me that, you know, brother, you got to pull yourself up and get up and fight, because we are depending on you. You're the only person who can do this. And you know, many times I wanted to walk away, buy a jet and fly around and see the world, and he said, no, you've got to stay here and win this fight. And it's for people like Salim, who's from the grassroots and who's from us, that he will energize us and give us the faith and the tolerance that you need to conquer higher ceilings as he has in his own life. And that is a lesson of so many of us and so many of you, that as Ghanaians, Americans who've come into the system and have distinguished ourselves in every walk of life and in every endeavor, that we have stood tall. And right now we were trying to get a district for all of us, even coming from till out here. And we've all heard about masjid and all the issues we've had. But Salim was always firm in community. He knew that if he didn't stand up for his community, nobody was going to stand up for us. He knew that if he didn't fight for it, that nobody would. And he knew the very saving grace that unless he fought, then nobody would fight. And that is a strength that only can get an inspiration from Allah and from the Almighty. And in that, he had a very rich and distinguished life. And in closing, I remember the last time he came to me, I was on Liberty Avenue, and he stopped his car in the middle of the road and he shook my hand. And then I realized it was him because he had on his mask. And as you look into his eyes, you can always see, sometimes you see the soul of a person through their eyes. If you look into the eyes of someone, you can see their soul, if you look long enough. And in that, you can see what soul he had. And it was a magnificent spectacle. A spectacle that would take him straight up to heaven. Because in that, he had the warmth and he had the goodness of spirit that was reflected in his soul. And in closing, I wanted to read a poem from Khalid Gibran, a very short poem. Khalid Gibran, as you know, is one of the greatest poets, and he also had an Islamic heritage. And it's called The Prophet. And it goes like this. But what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind, and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and see God, or Allah, unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb, and the earth shall claim your limbs. Then shall you truly dance. What it means is this transition that Salim is going through. This is not a time for mourning only. This is also a time for celebration, reflection, and deep passion, and understanding, and satisfaction. That he's on his way to heaven. He's lived a good life. He's left an example. And it is for us to carry forward that example and to stand strong and live for the legacy that this great man stands for. And also to know that we have an ambassador, a messenger, who has gone to heaven and who will make sure that we can also inherit that kingdom that belongs to Allah and to the Almighty. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much.